now here's our new trickery. It's fun. And now people are going to listen to this, and they're going to go, wait a second. And then they're going to try it, and when they try it, they're going to go, get out. This is amazing. How is this? Okay. People have in their automobiles and in their world these, what they call keyless entry points, where you have these clickers that you can lock and unlock your car, crank it up, turn it on, do things with these clickers on your keychain.
Yeah, when you leave the car, you point your thing at the car and the door locks.
Correct. Or if you're coming to your car,
it opens.
You click it and it'll open or open the trunk.
I know about those.
Okay, now, they have a proximity or a range in which they work. Do you agree? Because if there was no range, then you see JW can have a clicker and it could line up with something you have at your house, and he could push the button and lock or unlock the doors of your house.
Right, so they program them to be limited.
Well, and they only have a certain frequency field of range that work or respond. Now, here's what's fun. You can be outside of range, meaning further away.
From the other person with the clicker.
Correct, or the person with the clicker to his automobile.
Oh, okay.
And you can be outside of the range, because normally you have to be like in sight of your automobile relatively. And then that's how those work. Well, you can be outside of the bounds that are in the constraints of that working clicker, and you can place that clicker and have it touch your head. That's the thing on the top of your shoulders that your neck.
And you touch it, and you're not going to press the button. You're just going to touch your head.
You touch your head, and let's say you're way far away.
Yeah.
And you put it to your head, and you push the button while it's touching your head.
Yeah.
And you will more than triple your frequency range of what that clicker supposedly controls.
And you will open your car.
Wow, that's pretty neat. Your electromagnetics jump into the clicker.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that's the focus thing. And you'd say, well, why does that matter? Well, it doesn't. Well, why is it important? Well, it isn't. But it's fun, because then you can start activating just how powerful the quandary of your boundaries of your mind are.
Do you have to think the thought of what you intend?
No.
No, you just put it on your head and click it, and it'll work.
Further than it would otherwise.
So that brings in the idea there's no time and space, because the mind is interacting on the non-physical and maybe physical level way beyond what we measure.
It is more.
Now, right now, I could be thinking thoughts and affecting someone in Russia, someone in particular, who happens to be frequently aligned with me.
They don't have to be frequency aligned with you. But see, that would mean you'd have to line up with them.
Oh, okay, so they just happen to respond. Is there a reason why they respond and no one else does?
The resonance, the residue.
What causes that residue of resonance?
The symbiotic relationship between the physical and non-physical through the labyrinth of their own mind.
How can you explain why someone 1,000 miles away would respond to me and only that person?
The same way you have us on a radio show, and it goes out to many people, and some people are just catastrophically offended by it, and others are just go, wow, I have no idea what this non-physical thing is saying. I have no basis to have any clue that this even is, and yet something inside of me just really gets into this. There's a resonance. I don't even know what the words mean. And then he starts talking about these every dynamic of the body that science hasn't even necessarily figured out exactly yet. They got little...
Oh, wait, but who starts talking about that?
We do.
When you were talking on the show, right? You start providing some content, yeah.
And they want content, but it becomes over the head of most.
Yeah.
But they don't care about that. They still have a resonance with it, the same way your clicker resonates with your particle accelerator, if that's what you'd like to call it.
The clicker, not your Hadron Collider. the clicker, particle itself, the clicker in your hand for the car, right? Or are you shifting over to Hadron Collider?
No, it's Hadron. We're talking about the head.
Yeah, the Hadron rather than the Hadron. You're talking about the clicker on the head, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and you call it the particle accelerator.
That field, that magnetic field that you have is, whether you accept it or not, like
and its
it or
dimensions are not measurable. And so
that's exactly correct. Good, very good. And that's a dynamic, and if that information that we just gave and we're playing with, if that brings you, Bob, into the notion, the place of grasping that you indeed have more power than you know, then you see that becomes an anomaly that you can use as a human creator, Bob, to validate just how fabulous this being empowered place feels.
Then you understand that everything you're communicating is communicating all over the place, and there will be particles, people responding. That would explain why, the Snicker bars show up.
And not only do they show up, there's others that will engage them because of your salivation regarding them.
Yeah, like Jared gave us the new boogie board. So the blue.
Exactly.
Right when we need a new one.
Exactly.
Because there's all this communication going on.
It lined itself up on your behalf.
So that's why we call these future terrestrials now terrestrials, because it's all this now communication going on.
Carolyn would have bought you one and brought it home, but to haul it would have just been silly.
So this spiral is incredible. It's the first time the effect of people portaling has been seen. Can we explain this on Cash Flow, or are we not allowed to publish it?
Sure not.
No one will believe it. These people that portal, what do they experience when they go to another world? Do they travel around like us in our quote dreams when we're sleeping, go shopping in Bombay? What are they experiencing?
A blissful state of freedom.
Well, when you describe our trips at night, we go shopping in Bombay, we go to Pakistan, we go to South America, and Carolyn gets her in a knot about purchasing something, and I'm arguing over the price. These different little anecdotes happen. How could we anecdotalize what some of them are experiencing?
They have specific journeys that they have desirous to engage. Sometimes it's to figure out what to do back here.
Right.
Sometimes it's to see how a climactic experience will play out. You see, if it's just without it flows.
But they've been doing this for a while. It's not their first time doing it.
Sure, you could do the same thing. Well, how do people feel when they live in Michigan and they go to Florida for the winter?
Do they go to worlds that are exact replicas of our world?
No.
You can go to other worlds.
That's the point. You wouldn't go on vacation to Maui, Bob, because you're already in.
Yeah, but we go to Bombay, which is something we experience in this world, and we go to Bombay in our travelings at night.
Sure.
But they are purposely going to different worlds, not doubles of our world. Are we going to the parallel world Bombay, Carolyn, or are we going to the Bombay on this planet when we go to Bombay?
Parallel world Bombay.
Done both.
We go to both. So these people, are they all ages, the 28 that did this? Or they have no time?
No, they're all two, Bob. They're all two.
No, well, what do they look like? What do they look?
They look like humans. They have eyes and heads.
What ages do they look like?
They look ageless, Bob.
Are you saying these are like Saint Germain people that are floating about that are really ascended and quite removed from your local Rotarians and Kiwanis people and local Freemasons?
But yet could fit right into your neighborhood and you would just think they were cool.
And are they some that were born in other worlds?
Some.
Yeah, so they're like those guys who were overseeing CERN. They come from other worlds. Now, we were talking about this today, Carol and I. The people in the parallel world, we're a parallel world for them, and they're a parallel world for us. And some of them can travel, but there are many people in the parallel world who are as oblivious as the ones around us here about the parallel world reality.
Well, of course, yes.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same ratio.
Well, same difference, yes.
So Ion is implying that 1/3 in previous statements of the world is parallel world occupants. They weren't born here. Is it a different percentage, like maybe 1/4 of the world's population, or you agree with the 1/3?